And House Republicans grilled Army officials over a slideshow that labeled pro-life groups as terrorists. Here's One America's Daniel Baldwin.
House Republicans brought in Army officials this week for a hearing, grilling them on a training presentation that referred to certain pro-life organizations as terrorists. This comes after a training class at Fort Liberty held a counterterrorism training course, which included a slideshow labeling numerous of these groups as terrorists, as I just said. Right to Life and Operation Rescue were two of those groups. The Army confirmed this was not authorized and was created by what they called a rogue training instructor. Yet officials were dodgy in the congressional hearing that took place this week. Nicole Kipralov, executive director for the Coalition for Military Excellence, is with us to break it down. Nicole, we appreciate you joining. Officials told lawmakers that the trainer who made the slide hadn't been terminated, but has been actually retrained. Is this an acceptable course of action based on what had happened?
No, absolutely not. And Dan, it's really important to mention to make clear that this incident at Fort Liberty is just one example of this pervasive radical leftist ideology in all aspects of the military that the Biden-Harris administration is pushing through. And that's what we do at the Coalition for Military Excellence, is we expose and we fight against that. But close to 10,000 soldiers were trained over the course of 7 years. This presentation was created in 2011. It started to train soldiers in 2017. So what were they doing for 7 years? They missed it somehow. How is it a mistake that you label pro-life organizations as terrorist organizations? It's beyond ridiculous.
Well, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz accused those Army officials in that hearing of playing a game, in his words, hide the ball, when it came to the repercussions that this trainer who allegedly made this slide was facing. My question to you, Nicole, is why not simply be transparent and say, hey, this was a mistake on our end. Here's what we're doing as a chain of command to make this better and so this doesn't happen again.
So yesterday at the hearing, it was a great opportunity for the Army officials who were witnesses to be transparent with taxpayers, right? And the American people. That's what they deserved. And obviously the Army clearly failed because we know that this is happening. We know it's intentional. We know this is politically charged on purpose. And we also know that this goes against Army rules, and that is why we filed an IG complaint alleging that there is a violation of the UCMJ Article 134. We want to know who created it, what are the consequences, has there been we know there's no accountability, but what type of accountability is necessary to ensure that this never happens again? And so this will go through the process. It goes through at the DOD. They will decide if they investigate, and we want to get some answers to the American people. That's our priority.
Nicole, two of the groups that were labeled as terror organizations, according to the slideshow, were Right to Life and Operation Rescue. Given the fact that the southern border and the northern border have allowed more than 10 million illegal aliens to come across an increasing number of people on the terror watch list, what does it tell you that people in the Army were being told that these groups were terror organizations when there might actually be legitimate terror threats entering the United States right now unvetted?
Absolutely. I mean, just the irony of it, right? We know, what are the terrorist organizations? Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, Antifa, all of these groups that the radical left has failed to label as terrorist organizations, even though they incite violence against Americans, but they're labeling pro-life groups as terrorists. And it's really important to point out that the training was specifically targeted towards soldiers who were gate guards. Obviously, they have a lot of authority. They decide access, right? They make decisions about who has access to one of the largest bases in the country. We have over 52,000 military personnel at Fort Liberty. And so not only are pro-life activists not welcome, they are labeled a threat, which can absolutely wreak havoc on the entire operation of the Army.
Stunning numbers. Nicole Kipralov, we appreciate you joining us here in One America News, breaking down this very, very important subject. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live, OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.